Hi, my name is Flora Omosera. So who am I? Well, I am a witty, energetic, quite determined, sometimes shy individual. I am a mother of 3 and the oldest of 5 siblings. I'm a coach, a mediator, a people strategist, and a trainer facilitator. I really enjoy the process of facilitating conversations with people that are all about moving them forward, be it in terms of their mindset, trying to, progress forward on a goal that they want in their personal or career life, and so on. I'm the host of Time-With-Flora, which is a podcast and talk show that I host online. And I use that to share my thoughts and also facilitate conversations with people in relation to their career stories, their life stories, as well as life events in their lives. I think the other important thing to say is that I'm in a really good place in my mid-50s and really very excited. Haven't had a life that I've learned to be really grateful for, but now being in a position where I'm extremely excited about what life has to bring going forward. Really in an exciting space at the moment, and I look forward to talking more about that in the work that I'm doing with regards to coaching, career transition, career change, that kind of thing. I'm inspired by stories, quite simply, and it may be stories from all walks of life, be it people I've worked with, something I've read, it could be a speaker, it's people in my life. I'm inspired by stories where people have been able to move from one place, take ownership to move themselves to another place in their lives that is very meaningful and very precious to them, in terms of being who they are and who they need to be as individuals that are thriving. So stories inspire me. So what motivated me to start Time-With-Flora? It's really been an evolving process, to be honest. I remember 2 things that if I think about the real starting point or the trigger point, 2 things. There was a blog that I read, and it was really about somebody giving a bit of a testimonial about how they'd made, been able to make a change in their lives. But there was a big emphasis about conquering a fear and dealing with a procrastinating attitude to things. And I think sometimes it's not, it's never really about never having heard such messages before. It's always about the timing. It's always about where you are in your life and what's going on with you at the time. And the timing for me was that time to hear that message once again, but beyond hearing it, to be intentional about taking some kind of action. And so I remember on the back of that, I wrote my first blog, and then I also went on to do a podcast, and I think it was talking about things like loneliness and really just taking hold of what's going on in your life and being non-afraid. The fear still being there, but just doing it. And from there, things have evolved. I'm now having the privilege to engage with lots of people that I interview. I have people that are around me that are helping me with this dream, really, to build this dream, which is Time-With-Flora. And we'll see how it goes. But the most important thing is that it really speaks to something that is a strength that I have. And I've recognized it. And most importantly, it's something that I know that I can't stop it. I've just got to kind of take it to where it needs to go. So yeah, that's the story. If I could make an event in my life into a movie, I would say that it's about where I am in my life today and what is about to follow. And probably not a movie, but more of a series, really. Not necessarily because there is something so amazing that's going on in my life that is worthy of that big show and tell. But it is just really about where I am, the mindset, the very sense of being very intentional about everything that I'm doing, and you know, not being afraid at this stage in my life to, if I feel like, you know, having an interview with somebody or doing a bit of modeling or whatever the case may be, just going out there and doing it without the worry that, oh my goodness, what will people say? You know, what about this? What about that? I feel a lot less fearful today in terms of where I am. And I think because of that, I think there is a lot there that is worthy of sharing, that kind of spirit and sense of self. I think it's very worthy of sharing. So I would say where I am in my life would definitely, I would suggest, make a good movie story to tell, but as a continuous process for sure. I like the idea of career change. I mean, my thoughts about career change is that it's a healthy thing. It's the right thing to happen. I was recently listening to a BBC podcast episode that was talking about career change. And one of the things that one of the I think he was an academic, and there were a few other people that were being interviewed, but he was making the point, and there was also a journalist as well who had left the space of journalism to go on to become a teacher, something entirely different from what she'd been doing for so many years. And generally there was a point being made, which was this: you know, in the world today, and what we have been told for a number of years now is that we are all going to be living for much longer. We are going to be retiring at a much later age, in our 70s probably, and hopefully doing and working more in a space that you would really love, that is a passion. But the fact is that we will be working longer in the world. And there are so many other things that are going on: climate change, the way technology is evolving, all these many things that will be bringing new ways of existing, of working, of living. And the notion that you know, one would choose to stay in a particular career or job for all these years, to me, doesn't feel right. I say it from my own perspective. So you know, if we're all going to be living that much longer, I think it's really important that we all explore opportunities to learn new things, to keep evolving, to keep excitement in our lives, to do more, and to be more. Not in a way that it means, you know, to become a millionaire or anything like that. But you know, do more than one thing in your life. And so when we bring it back to, is career change a good thing? Yeah, absolutely, career change is a good thing, because what it means is that when you change your career, and you may not never step out of a particular environment, be it IT, be it music, or whatever the case, but still finding different things to do while existing even in the same space is career change, you know? So career change is good. we're going to be living longer, and it's going to be really important to have more and different experiences in our life that keep us thriving as human beings, that keep us learning and growing, and not becoming senile or lonely or whatever those repercussions of not just kind of stepping out of your normal space will cause. So change is absolutely good. What are my thoughts about relationships? What I would say is that when I hear the word relationship, when I read it, when I see it, the implication for me is that you have two people or more than two people in an interaction, in a setting where both or all are thriving from being party to that relationship. It's one where a relationship to me means that there is mutually beneficial activity going on, that there is value for for all parties that are involved. It is not possible for a relationship just to be about one person, for one person to value, to make it a relationship. All parties that are involved in that relationship have to gain from it. Okay, and I think that fundamentally is the main thing that I would say about relationships. That is the key, regardless of whether it's work, whether it's husband and wife, partners, parent and child. That for me is the fundamental thing. All right, individuals are in it to gain. There is a mutual gain by both parties that is of value to them. Conflicts. My thoughts about, this is an area that I have a lot of interest in, and I talk about it in the context from one who teaches, from one who manages, leads people, from one as being a parent, as being a sibling, so from many perspectives, as I know we all do. Conflict can be great. Conflict can be not so great. And I think the most important thing about conflict is to be discerning as to which it is. Is it the positive or productive kind of conflict, or is it the negative kind? And obviously, depending on which one it is, then it has to be tackled and dealt with accordingly. So an example of productive conflict, a husband and wife, say, or two individuals decide that they're going to buy a house together. They've got to decide on where they want to buy it, how much they want to spend, the area that they want to live in, and so on and so forth. Both individuals may have different views as to what their preference would be, and so what you have is a bit of to-ing and fro-ing, which, depending on how heated or whatever it is also a conflict in two individuals sort of trying to exercise or push their own views or preferences on each other. And of course, it's productive if they're able to move from that place to a point of agreement, consensus, and then they're able to move forward, actually happy and content in the idea that we've had a conversation and we're able to move on. The other kind of conflict, which is the negative type, which I also call stinky conflict, is sometimes wrapped up in bad feeling, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, that just leads to personal feuds and things like that. And the problem with that kind of conflict is that it has this way of being contagious on everybody else around you. All right, which is why it's called stinky conflict, and not the good kind of conflict. And that definitely needs to be well managed between the parties so that you can resolve it. But it's a conversation that I can talk a lot about in terms of teaching and leading on it. But yeah, conflict can be good and it can be bad. What's most important to me, and I think this would be common to a lot of people, is peace of mind. Yeah, just a peace of mind in who I am and in what I'm doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean being in a situation where things are perfect. I am in a place in my life at the moment that I'm actually quite excited. I do have a level of peace of mind. It's not a perfect situation, but it feels on course. It feels like it's moving in the direction that it needs to move in. And I think I recognize that, and that in itself gives me a lot of peace of mind. And it's important to just stress this peace of mind when I even say it, because it's not the same thing as believing that if I have the money that this other individual has, then I will have peace of mind. If I had a partner or, a boyfriend, or if my kids were getting A grades, then yeah, that would give me peace of mind. We really as individuals have to kind of unpick these things that are, and be true to ourselves when we are actually talking these things through. So what is peace of mind to me? It's going to be peace of mind in a different kind of context and way to somebody else. But always just to make sure that it is something that is defined by your own truth, as opposed to the truth that you see with other people. So Flora Omoserada here, the host of Time with Flora. I hope you've enjoyed my share, just a little bit about me. And really looking forward to sharing more episodes, stories, thoughts with you. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, Time with Flora, and I'll look forward to engaging and sharing with you again soon.